Hey everyone, and welcome back, or if you're new here, my name is Josh, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Citi Diamond Preferred card. So I'll be going over the main features of this card, its pros, as well as its drawbacks. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a much better idea of whether or not this card is a good fit for you. But before I go ahead and dive into the main features of this card, if you wouldn't mind helping out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Also, if you would like to receive 20 free stocks worth at least $60 or more, in a pinned comment below I will be leaving a link to Webull. All you got to do is once you click on that link is open up a free account and then deposit at least 1 penny. At that point, you're going to be receiving 20 free stocks. Each stock, once again, is going to be worth at least $3. Okay, so diving right into the main features of the Citi Diamond Preferred credit card. First off, we're going to be talking about how you can earn points or cash back with this card. Well, unfortunately with this card, unlike a lot of the other cards out there in the market, you cannot earn any points or cash back. It doesn't matter which category you spend in, this card is one where you cannot earn any points or cash back in. Now, as far as the spend bonus goes, once again, just like the cash back, this is not a card that you can earn any type of spend bonus on. Instead, this card is pretty much just for one specific purpose, which we are going to be going over in just a moment. So as far as some of the main benefits of this card go, you're going to have a 0% introductory APR on all purchases for the first 12 months. Now, after the first 12 months are up, it is going to go up, which we are going to cover in just a moment. Now, as far as balance transfers go, you have an even longer period where you are going to have a 0% APR for your introductory offer. For this one, it is going to be for the first 21 months, and then of course, after that, it is going to go up as well. Now with this card, you're also going to receive some protection benefits as well. So with this card, you're going to receive ID theft protection, which is going to be a program offered by MasterCard. This basically helps you eliminate the worry of identity theft by monitoring the info you choose to protect and alerting you if suspicious activity is found. And then on top of that, just like other cards out there in the market, you're also going to have a $0 liability on unauthorized charges, which basically means if you go out somewhere and your credit card falls out of your pocket and someone picks it up and spends hundreds, if not thousands of dollars with this card, you are not going to be liable to pay for those transactions. And then also, perhaps if someone steals your card number and goes online to make a lot of transactions, you're not going to be held liable to pay for those either because of the $0 liability. Okay, so now that we went over the main features of the Citi Diamond Preferred credit card, we're not going to go ahead and dive into the APR and fees because this, of course, is also super important as well. So starting out on purchases, like I just mentioned a moment ago, for the first 12 months on all purchases, your introductory APR is going to be 0%. And this is really a great thing because perhaps you have a lot of larger transactions coming up, whether they be expected transactions or whether they be unexpected transactions. And perhaps you don't have the money sitting around in your checking or savings account to pay the balance off in full. So with any other credit card out there in the market, you might have to pay some interest or perhaps a lot of interest on those transactions. But with this card, since you are going to have the 0% introductory APR for the first 12 months, you can instead slowly pay off the card over the first 12 months on those larger transactions, and you will not be hit with any interest. However, you will definitely want to make sure to pay off your balance in full because after the first 12 months are up, your APR is going to be going up to anywhere between 18.24 to 28.99%. Now, this card also offers an introductory offer on balance transfers as well. So on this one, it's going to be even sweeter. So for the first 21 months for this, unlike the purchases where it was just the first 12 months on balance transfers, it's going to be 21 months of 0% introductory APR. And this is also super special because perhaps with another card out there, you might have like a high interest rate, let's say like 28%, where you have a large balance on there where you're paying a lot of interest every single month. Well, with this card, perhaps you could consider transferring the balance from the card that you have a high interest rate on with a high balance, and you could transfer the balance from that card over to this card. And for the first 21 months, unlike your other card, you are going to have a 0% interest rate, which is really great. And then, of course, you'll want to pay that off within the first 21 months because once those 21 months are up, at that point, you're going to be paying interest, and your interest rate is going to be anywhere between 18.24 to 28.99%. Now, as far as cash advances go, this is something on this channel that I always strongly recommend people to stay far away from. This should not be considered financial advice though, just something that I personally recommend avoiding. But if you do decide to take out a cash advance, just know that your APR on those is going to be a whopping 29.99%. And not only that, but you're also going to be charged some fees along with that as well, which we are going to get into just now. So as far as the fees go with this card, with cash advances, your cash advance fee is going to be either $10 or 5% of the amount of each transaction, whichever happens to be greater. So obviously with the 29.99% APR on cash advances, along with those fees, everything can really stack up pretty greatly there. Now, as far as the balance transfers go, even though you're going to have a 0% introductory APR for the first 21 months, that's great and all, but just keep in mind there are also going to be some fees associated with those balance transfers. The fee is going to be either $5 or 5% of the amount of each balance transfer. So for example, if you do like a $5,000 balance transfer, in that case, there would be a $250 fee because that would be 5% of $5,000, which obviously is greater than $5. Now, as far as foreign transactions go, if you do happen to travel internationally, if you happen to travel abroad, this is a card you'll definitely want to leave behind because there is going to be a foreign transaction fee of 3%. Instead, you might want to opt for another travel credit card or one by Capital One because Capital One credit cards typically do not have a foreign transaction fee. Okay, so now that we went over the main features of this card as well as the APR and fees, I'm now going to go ahead and dive into what I would consider to be the biggest pros and drawbacks of this card. We're going to start out with the good things. And the first good thing, of course, is the fact that on purchases with this card, for the first 12 months only, you're going to have a 0% introductory APR on those purchases. So once again, if you have a lot of larger transactions coming up that are perhaps unexpected and you don't have the money sitting around to pay them off, but at the same time, you don't want to be paying a lot of interest with another credit card that you perhaps have, you could consider getting this card. And once again, for the first 12 months, you will not be paying any interest. Of course, once again, after the first 12 months are up, you'll definitely want to make sure that the card is paid off in its entirety. That way, you are not going to be paying any interest. Now, the second pro of this card is, once again, for balance transfers for the first 21 months, you're going to have a 0% introductory APR. And once again, that's great because right now, if you have another credit card where you're paying a lot of interest every single month, you could consider transferring the balance from that card over to this card. And once again, for the first 21 months, you will not be paying interest on the card, unlike with the other card where you're paying a lot of interest every single month, sometimes as great as like $200 or $300 per month. And then finally, the last good thing about this card, at least in my opinion, is the fact that it does not have an annual fee, so you're not going to be paying anything for it. You're going to have the 0% introductory APR on purchases, the 21-month introductory APR on balance transfers, and you're not going to have to pay anything for the card, so you don't have to sit around and wonder every single year whether or not it's worth keeping open because there is no annual fee. So those are the good things. At this point, we are going to go into the bad things, which of course, in this case, there are more bad things than good things with this card. So of course, the first bad thing is the fact that you cannot earn any points or cash back with it. Every single transaction that you make, you will not earn anything back. Also, with the spin bonus, unfortunately, once again, there is no spin bonus with this card. A lot of other cards out there on the market offer both cash back and a spin bonus. This one, unfortunately, does not. And then finally, the last bad thing about this credit card is the fact that on those balance transfers, you do have to pay a fee of 5%, even though there is going to be a 0% APR. The 5% fee on balance transfers is higher than the 3% that you can get with some cards. So all in all, just to sum things up here, this is a card I probably would not recommend just because of the fact that you're not going to be earning a spin bonus, you're not going to be earning any cash back, and the balance transfer offer is actually 5%, a 5% fee, unlike some of the other cards out there where it's just 3%. Instead, if you like the 0% introductory APR on purchases and balance transfers, you might instead opt for another card out there such as the Citi Custom Cash Card. That one, you're actually going to be earning 5% cash back in your top spending category, and then you can also earn a $200 spin bonus. Then you're also going to have a 0% introductory APR on both purchases and balance transfers for the first 15 months. That card, of course, is much better than this card. This card is probably one I would not recommend for most people. But that's all we have for today's review. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like, consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.